Hello, friends. Hope you're doing well today. My Summit Church small group had a tremendous meeting last night. We had great discussions and wonderful fellowship. We're in week 5 of the topic Disciples Making Disciples. The topic was the habit of personal testimony. The Summit Church small group guide, which our Summit Church does such a nice job of giving us, told us that the followers of Jesus are often recognized by what they verbalize with their mouth, not just what they believe in their heart. Jesus taught us that the mouth speaks from the overflow of the heart, and that's in Matthew 12:34 and Luke 6:45. I reflected on that, and it is so true. When we start our morning with, for example, a fight with our spouse, watching depressing news, or worrying about something, that often overflows from our hearts to our mouth when we talk to people throughout the day. When we start our morning with quiet time with God and Bible study, that can build us up and overflow from our hearts to our mouths when we talk to others. That gives us peace. We have joy. Our Summit Study Guide continued. Our words matter. In the Bible, those who experienced an encounter with God often responded by telling others. And in his last words to the disciples before his ascension to heaven, Jesus includes an instruction to be witnesses, even to the ends of the earth. And that's in Acts 1:8. Yet, when it comes to speaking to others about their faith, many Christians find it awkward or challenging to put their walk with God into words. Now, testimony is simply someone's declaration of a first-hand experience. A personal testimony can include a presentation of the gospel, but it can also be more than that. Our group agreed to share our testimony with each person one day this week, and I'm sharing mine with you today. In our small group, we also discussed our lead pastor, Dr. J.D. Greer's message over the weekend. He talked about the commands from 1 Peter 1:13 to 21, which are number 1, get dressed. Number 2, lift your eyes. Number 3, don't look back. Number 4, be weird, and that's the Greek for be different. Stand amazed and love extravagantly. The message was tremendous. I'll link it below in the Facebook comments section of this post. Our group discussed which of these 6 points stood out to us the most. Mine was number 1, get dressed, and that's similar to put on the full armor of God each day. We are to get dressed for each day. Satan is like a roaring lion. He is out to devour us, our friends, our world, and our children. Today's culture feeds everyone with things like lust to sell products or for whatever reason, and other sins, and they make it look normal. I also enjoyed our discussion on not looking back. Too many times we look back at our past or our sins, or Satan reminds us and we forget and we look back. We don't, not to do that. And the last one, loving extravagantly. A side note from this topic, Satan may have thought he had won a victory by making the churches meet online rather than in person. However, many people are looking at online messages that didn't really go to church in the past. There's no football on, no other sports, so forth. And we're finding our church data is showing that far more people watch the message online in the coming days and weeks than typically come to church each week. After the message, more than 100, the Easter message, more than 100 people asked to be contacted after the invitation was given in the online message. Our small group discussion was John 9, 1-34. Our study guide continued. The book of John is unique among the Gospels in that it gives longer accounts of up-close and personal encounters with Jesus. I often think about what it would be like to have a personal encounter with Jesus. And of course, I do that in prayer and throughout the day, but that would be really something to see, and I look forward to it when I get to heaven. In John, we are introduced to a blind man who gets healed by Jesus. The man's personal testimony about his encounter with Christ provides a great example for us today. First, notice that this unnamed man brought into the story his need for Jesus. The man is straightforward and open about his testimony. The man is asked repeatedly for questions to deep theological questions about Jesus' identity and God's work in the world. In those moments, he is honest and not afraid to say, I don't know. Third, we see how in this story how fearless that healed man becomes. The Pharisees had the power to rebuke, imprison, or punish him, but he stands firm in his story throughout a contentious hearing. The man's story is here in John 9 as an example to us in courage, honesty, and openness about our need for a Savior. Telling people about Jesus through our testimony is powerful. They may be able to argue about theology, creation, or other topics, but they cannot argue with our testimony. When they see the peace, love, and joy that we exude as Christians, they cannot argue with that. Our small group discussed several other things about the blind man. Excuse me. The study guide pointed out that some people may find encouragement in the words of Jesus about our suffering not being in direct judgment for our sin, and that our struggles can point to God's power. Some people may find encouragement in the blind man's courage or simplicity. My testimony is very simple. Before I fully surrendered to Jesus Christ, I was a workaholic. I set up goals and I tried to find happiness in achieving them. When I was single, I tried to find happiness in relationships, many of them illicit. Now, however, if you follow any of my posts, you will see that I have joy. I'm often quite silly, sometimes to the point of being ridiculous. I love people, and I'm a very happy person. That all comes from the peace and joy of knowing Jesus, making Jesus my identity, in knowing that this pandemic is temporary, and knowing that God and His love are permanent. I love Jesus so much, and I wish all of you knew Him and had this joy and peace. My small group concluded with prayer for each other, and then a few moments of our usual joking and picking at each other in love. Please feel free to share this post. Also, the post will be on my YouTube channel, which will be linked in the comments section below. I love all of you. I would love to talk to any of you about the peace and joy you can find in Jesus. Or I would love to answer any questions you have. Please private message me on Facebook or leave a comment in the YouTube section with your, or contact me with your phone number, and I would love to call you and talk to you and or pray with you. God bless you.